Jeff Rowe from Two Hacks Garage. Well, it's been a little bit since I've really discussed things going on with my 1968 Ford Thunderbird. It's powered by a 521 cubic inch power plant. It's got a tunnel ram on it, dual quads, super steep gears, an awesome transmission, and you know what? It's quite heavy, but it's also quite fast. As you can see, my dragster's done. Just waiting on a few things for that before I hit the track. But what's this video about? Well, in the off season last year, I did make some upgrades on this that I did cover a little bit, but I didn't go into detail on showing you how it all works, especially in conjunction. One of those upgrades, guys, that I did is I added an MSD Two Step to this. It's already got the MSD 6AL ignition, and I also do have the MSD Pro Billet Distributor now. What does that play into? Well, as you saw in other videos, I went up to Cope Racing Transmissions and we pulled the C6 out of this. We rebuilt the whole internals in it, better planetary gears that are much lower. And we also put a broader Transbrake in this. And also we swapped out the 430 traction lock, which I smoked, for a set of 486 gears and a spool. So this video is going to just kind of go over on, what does that all do together? Haven't really quite shown that. We showed you the new distributor upgrade. We showed you the transmission upgrade. And we actually did show you a little while back on installing the two-step. But in this video, I want to show you how that all works together. And you know what, guys? We're going to go do some testing on that just to show you how it actually works. And you know what? I don't think this thing's going to get traction, but at least you can see how a two-step works along with the Transbrake. And you know what? I think this 521 cubic inch Ford is going to make some tire smoke. Let's show you what we got working with. All right, guys. Well, here's what we're working with here. Kind of this video is what is a two-step? What is a Transbrake? How does it all work together? As you can see here, I've got a 521 cubic inch big block Ford. It's pretty rowdy, high compression, drinks 112 octane fuel through those quick fuel carburetors, through that Weiand tunnel ram. Also, guys, if you look there, I do have the MSD Pro Billet Distributor. We just got that installed. It's got the MSD Digital 6AL ignition kit. And on top of it, if you look closely here, which is kind of hard to see, you can see right there, right below the ignition box is the MSD Two Step. Also with that, I'm not running a factory style coil. Down here, I do have the MSD Blaster SS coil. So that's kind of my ignition system in a nutshell right there. The MSD 6AL system, that does have a built-in rev limiter. I have that currently set at 6,200 RPMs. It actually works really great. This Pro Billet Distributor, I love it. My old off-brand distributor, I had some issues with high RPM cutout. Tell you what, guys, this is a solid piece, and that took care of that. I was also having some problems with the coil, the factory style one, getting hot, so I added that MSD Blaster SS. So what does that two-step do? Well, it's kind of like a secondary rev limiter per se. Really nice. It wires into your MSD 6AL box. It comes with instructions. It's actually really easy to do. So what you do is you set, if you look closely on the actual unit right there, you see it's got two different dials. That's an RPM selection range on that. So like I said, my 6AL, it does currently have a rev limiter set at 6,200. But with a two-step, well, tell you what, guys, think of it as an initial rev limiter. So what happens is I have a button on my Hurst Shifter, which I'll show you in a second. And when I hit that, it engages that two-step. And I think right now I got it set at like 3,000 RPMs. So when you have that button engaged and you floor it, it's going to cut the RPM limit at whatever you set that at. And as soon as you let off of that, it goes to the other MSD box, and that rev limiter will take over. So that's how the two-step works. It's really, really awesome for a launch, especially if you have like high RPM stall, or if you're running boost, or in my case, a Transbrake. So I'm going to get into that in here in a second. Let me show you the Hurst Shifter I have and how that works in conjunction with everything I got. Okay, so here's my Hurst Shifter. I really like this one. I had a different one in here with my old transmission, but that was a forward pattern, and my new valve body, it's a reverse pattern. Don't mind the redneck markings for my gears on that. I did that instead of getting the tape. But here's what I'm going to say. This button here for my application, that controls not only the Transbrake, but also the two-step. So basically, when I put this thing down into first gear, which is right there, I'm going to hit that button right there, and I'm going to mash the throttle. Whatever I have the two-step set at, it's going to sit there and pop, 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 pop. And also my Transbrake solenoid is going to be engaged. So as soon as I pre-stage, I'm going to hit that button, I'm going to floor it, and once I see that third yellow go, bam, let off. The two-step goes off, goes to your MSD box, whatever rev limiter that's set at, and you know what? All that power is now released through the solenoid on that Transbrake for a really clean, solid, high RPM launch. Pretty cool setup in my opinion. I had this at the track last year going off the foot brake. I really liked it, pulled the front wheels, but I really wanted something better. And seeing I already had all the MSD ignition, that two-step box is going to work really awesome in conjunction with the broader Transbrake. And you know what? When you have a Transbrake, you need something a little bit more solid. So out back, yep, I ditched the 430 with traction lock. I actually smoked that testing this out, and I put in a set of 486 gears and a spool. While not being too street friendly, well, this car still gets driven on the street, and it has a whole lot of fun. So with that, guys, I tell you what we're going to do is we're going to go out and we're going to show you how this works off a Transbrake. See you here in a few minutes. I call this road Cuba. All right, here we go. Transbrake two-step engaged. Pretty rowdy. I think you get the gist of how that two-step works along with that Transbrake. It is a whole lot of fun testing out in Cuba, and I really enjoy doing it, seeing my son got to go with me. He's almost 16 years old, and he's really got the itch for a hot rod. Probably not something with a whole lot of horsepower like this, but I guarantee you that it's going to be fun. As you saw, once I let off that button, you know, it just spun the tires, and going in second gear, pretty much just feathering it. Pretty useless on the street. It makes a whole lot of torque. It's a lot of fun, but you know what I'm going to need to do? I'm really going to need to get this thing out on the track that's nice and sticky, prepped, get these tires warmed up, and see what it's going to do off that button right off that launch. Last year at the drag strip off the foot brake, it really did really well. I was impressed by how heavy this car was and how fast it was able to go. This year is going to be completely different. The MSD 6AL box with the MSD Two Step and that Pro Billet Distributor, along with the new coil, they work very, very well. I dig the Weiand tunnel ram with the twin quick fuel 650 carburetors on there. Throttle response is good. It's got the spark. It's got the fuel going to it to make all that power. Yeah, it's a big, heavy car, but it's going to surprise a whole lot of people going out there. I'm kind of digging it. For once in the summertime, it's early. This car is pretty much done, and I'm going to be hitting the drag strip here pretty soon. I got my dragster over there done. I'm just waiting on a few things so I can go get my licensing passes, guys. But you know what? This has been a really fun day. I hope you kind of got a little bit of the gist of how this all works in conjunction and why it's kind of important if you really want a good, solid, consistent launch to have something like this. In reality, for me, it's just a whole lot of fun. Hit a button, take your foot off, floor it, pop, 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 go. With that, guys, 2X Garage is going to be bringing you a whole lot more fun content. This car is going to go under a little bit of a change here, probably pretty soon. I've been talking to Fast Eddie. I've been talking to the guy in Monticello, Indiana, that hand-lettered my dragster. So you know what? This thing could look differently by the time I go drag racing this fall in Sykes in Missouri. Speaking of parts, though, all of these parts I did get from Holley.com. They have an assortment of things currently on sale. It's their supercharged summer clearance deals. I know I have parts to order, so I'm going to go there tonight, get some more parts ordered up, because I have a surprise coming for this dragster, and I think I got a few upgrades coming for this. But with this, guys, until next time, have a whole lot of fun, stay safe, and if you're going to do something rowdy, do it in style. Later.